Hi guys, we're now done with the quartiles for the group data. So in this video, let us discuss the deciles for the group data. If you haven't watched our video about the quartiles for the group data, I will include the link on the description box. So in solving for the deciles for the group data, we will be following the same rules kagaya ng quartiles for the group data. So konting recap lang regarding kay deciles. Deciles are those values that divide the total frequency into 10 equal parts. So we know na meron tayong decile 1 hanggang decile 9 where each decile represents 10%. Let's say for example, decile 1 is 10% while decile 9 is 90%. So ang formula na gagamitin natin in computing for the decile is d sub k equals the lower boundary plus the quantity k times the n divided by 10 minus less than cumulative frequency below divided by the frequency of the decay times the interval. So, i-identify natin ngayon kung ano-ano nga ba ang mga value ng ating mga variables sa ating formula. LB stands for the lower boundary of the d sub k class. N is the total frequency. CFB is the cumulative frequency before the d sub k class, while F sub d sub k is the frequency of the d sub k class, I is the size of the class interval, and K is the nth decile where n can be equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So para mas maintindihan natin siya, let us proceed with illustrative example. Let us calculate the 7th decile of the mathematics test scores of the 50 students. Given na dito ang scores or the class interval at ang frequency. Ang una nating gagawin ay i-identify natin kung ano nga ba ang value ng ating class interval at kung ano ang ating total frequency. Para makuha natin ang size ng ating class interval, we will start counting from lower limit up to the upper limit. So we have 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. That means the size of our class interval is 5. After that ay kukuhanin natin ang ating total frequency. To get the total frequency, i-add lang natin lahat ng numbers na nasa tapat ng frequency or yung mga numbers na nasa second column. So kapag kinuha natin ang total niyan, the value will become 50. So n is equal to 50. Next is to complete our table. Our task is to find our lower boundaries and the less than cumulative frequency. Para makuha natin si lower boundary, magsusubtract lang tayo ng 0.5 kay lower limit. We have 21 minus 0.5 is equal to 20.5. 26 minus 0.5 is 25.5. 31 minus 0.5 is 30.5 hanggang makarating tayo kay 46 minus 0.5 which is equal to 45.5. Ang next naman natin gagawin is to get the less than cumulative frequency. So the first thing that we need to do is ikakopy lang natin ang frequency ng ating first class. So we have 6. And then, i-add lang natin ito sa frequency ng second class to get the less than cumulative frequency of the second class. That is 6 plus 12 which is equal to 18. Following the same procedure, 18 plus 9 is equal to 27. 27 plus 11 is equal to 38. 38 plus 8 is equal to 46, and 46 plus 4 is equal to 50. Take note that the less than cumulative frequency of the highest class must be equal to the value of our n, which is equal to 50. The next step is to find the d sub k class. Since we are looking for the value of the 7th decile, we will be using the formula d sub 7 class is equal to 7 times the n divided by 10. The value of n is 50, so that means we have 7 times 50 divided by 10. 7 times 50 is equal to 350 divided by 10 is equal to 35. After nating makuha yung 35, hahanapin natin ngayon sa less than cumulative frequency kung alin dito ang may number na greater than or equal to 35. Since walang 35 na number sa ating less than cumulative frequency, hahanapin natin ang least number greater than 35. And as you can see, that is 38. Iha-highlight natin ang ating fourth class since dito natin makikita ang pang 35 na score. Ito rin ang magiging focus natin sa pagsosolve natin using the formula for the D sub 7. Since na-compute na natin at alam na natin kung nasa ang class ang ating D sub 7, let us now compute for our decile using the formula D sub k is equal to the LB plus the quantity k times n divided by 10 minus cumulative frequency below the QK class divided by the frequency of the D sub k class times the interval. Since we are looking for the D sub 7, we will use the formula D sub 7 is equal to LB plus the quantity 7 times n divided by 10 minus the cumulative frequency below the D sub 7 class divided by the frequency of the D sub 7 times the interval. Looking at our highlighted class, makikita natin na ang ating lower boundary is equal to 35.5. On the other hand, si 7n over 10 naman is already computed which is equal to 35. While ang ating less than cumulative frequency before the D sub 7 class is equal to 27. Divided by sa frequency ng ating D sub 7 class which is equal to 11. Times the size of the class interval which is equal to 5. Simplifying it further, pwede kayong gumamit ng calculator in evaluating the operations. And it will give us an approximate value for the D sub 7 which is equal to 39.14. The seventh decile is equivalent to 70%. Therefore, 70% of the students got a score less than or equal to 39.14. Now your turn. Using the same given, please solve for the fifth decile. Please comment your answer on our comment section. That's all for today. Thanks for watching.